Hi Dragons, I'm here to do a bit of a different video, and I can't remember if I've done this video before, but I'm gonna tell you the new authors that I found in 2024 that I loved and I'm gonna keep reading books from. And if at the end I can try to include a graphic, I definitely will. But here are the books that I kept on my to read shelf that I'm just gonna keep for the foreseeable years because I think I might use them in recommendations. Peyton Corinne's Unsteady, I really liked when I read this. It is definitely a more emotional read. It's a figure skater and then a hockey romance. Both of them are dealing with a lot of trauma in their lives, and it's just a very sweet college romance, and I really like this one. It was a quick read. Unloved is coming out in 2025 that I definitely do want to read, but this one really, I used to when I was little, I loved figure skating, so my two favorite sports are figure skating and gymnastics. So I had such a fun time with this book, and I really liked it. It was definitely more emotional. It was like a heartfelt read, but one that really got me. I like both characters as well, and there was such a strong found family vibes in this story that it really worked for me. And thank you so much for Tori and Jess, I'll link them below, for turning me on to this author because I am so happy I found her. And then another arc that I got, but this is the Pretty Fairylit edition, is The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. And this is a cozy fantasy that just blew me away. I love this book. It's probably my favorite cozy fantasy that I've read all year, behind the Spell Shop. I love this book and I just love her. I think she's such a delight, and just the way she crafted this story just really worked. And you follow a main character who is a seer, but she really focuses on smaller things, even though she can do a lot of other things, just because she's had things go bad. And she wounds up predicting that a man is going to find his daughter that's been missing. And they team up with that guy who, he's a bounty hunter looking for his daughter, and a baker, and then this girl that works in a bakery, to kind of go on this adventure to save this little girl. And oh my god, it was so delightful. But I really hope she has another book. I met her at Comic-Con as well. I have 3 copies of this book, but I just had such a fun time with this book, and I really liked it. But she's definitely an author I'm going to keep my eye on in 2025 to see what she releases next. And then I didn't even unwrap, but I also really did like Nightmare Before Christmas by Sarah Rosh. This is the Owlcard edition that I have not even taken out of the back, but I love this book. I thought it was so fun. It was an interesting take on holidays. It also had a LGBTQ plus romance, a lot of side characters, and just a fun way to build a world. And I really did like the romance between the characters, but this was a fun fan row that I really did like, and I think that it will be perfect for the holiday season if you haven't picked it up yet. So Sarah Rosh is definitely an author I'm going to keep an eye out on for her future releases, but I also want to go back and read her YA stuff as well. Another author that I found this year was Sophia Kim for The God and the Guillermo, and this is a cozy fantasy romance about a Goni and a trickster god that are kind of forced into this buddy cop dynamic to kind of save the world. And I had a really fun time with this book, and I really want to keep, I know that there's going to be a companion book to this book, and I just really liked it. It was a quick read, one that I just really enjoyed, and I just am excited to see what this author is writing next. That's why she's on this list. An author that I read more than one book by was definitely Sarah Hawley. I read A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing Vampires and that whole series. This is my favorite, and that is why I kept it. I also got this one signed by Sarah Hawley at Comic-Con. But I just loved witchy romances. It's one of my books, one of my goals to read more throughout the year, because I love witches and I love contemporary vibes as well. But I had such a fun time with the story, and I really think that you guys should check it out if you're looking for a witchy romance. And I think that all the books were very different and unique. This was definitely my favorite, but it was just a fun time, and I highly recommend the audiobooks. One book that is definitely going to make my favorite books of the year is The Wishing Spell Game by Meg Schaefer. This is another book that really focuses on found family. You basically have a character named Lucy, and she is a teacher, and her lifelong dream is to adopt one of her students because she has fallen head over heels for him. She just loves him and she wants to adopt him and give him the best life. But her financial situation puts herself in a bit of peril to be considered. But when she gets invited to this mansion by one of her favorite authors to kind of compete a game to get her, enough money to do this, things don't exactly go according to plan. But it's another book about found family, and that is something that I really do look for in my reads. That is a buzzword for me. So yeah, this book was really, really fun. I read 2 books by this author. This was definitely my favorite, but I really hope this author writes more, because it's like a mystery with like a little bit of a magic twist. Sort of. And then Everyone and Their Mother was talking about Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I really did like this book. It was fun. It wasn't like that unique, but the banter was fun. The characters were fun, and I had a great time with it. I liked all the vibes, I liked the characters, and I'm excited to see what happens next in Reckless once I picked it up. But it was a book that like I wanted to keep reading. It was very, very quick, and I keep saying I've been reading a lot of fanro recently, like adult fanro, and it hasn't been hitting the same. So I'm going to go back to my YA roots in 2025, and I'm really excited for it. Another cozy fantasy that I really liked was A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Perner, and this is just a baking competition, sort of, but like in an elvish world, and I really do like this book. I read it so long ago. I read this at the start of the year, but I do want to read book 2. And I remember liking it quite a bit, and I like the fantastic vibes. This is one of the first cozies I read that I also really enjoyed. Another author I found this year that really, really liked was also Hannah Nicole Mayer for Assistant to the Villain. Again, this was another cozy that I really did like. Actually, Buddy read this with Amy from Amy Bookshelf, and we had a really, really fun time. And I like the world. It kind of gave me Once Upon a Time vibes, which I did like, but I really want to go back and obviously read book 2. But also just reread the series, because I think it's a cozy, fun time. And then some books that like I don't have physical copies of. One is Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter, and I will attach a photo here. This was like a very unique murder mystery, and it was kind of set like it was. I listened to the audiobook entirely in one day. But it basically follows these like 6 experts that go and working on a Netflix series to kind of like solve this cold case. But the like why they all have been chosen is not being honest, and things are not exactly what it seems. But it was like such a quick listen. I felt like I was like watching a Netflix documentary, and it was very, very interesting. So I definitely want to see what Kara Hunter puts out in the future, because that was like a very, very captivating read for me. I also read something by Laura Asher. I read My December Darling. It was a holiday romance. I'll touch the book here. And I'll be honest, I'm always on the hunt for romance authors that write good audiobooks, because that is like 90% of what I read in my audiobook. I listen to a ton of romances. So yeah, I want to go back and I want to read this author's more, but I loved the quick vibes, I love the banter, I love the pacing, and I like the Christmas vibe, so I'm excited to see what she does in a book that's not Christmassy. But I definitely want to read more by this author. And then another book I read this year was Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. I'll attach a photo here. This is the author that wrote Manacled. Or no, Manacled? Was it Manacled? No, I think it was The Auction, which is a Harry Potter fan fiction. This is basically like Adam Brody fan, or like basic Kylo Ren is what it was, or I think it's like fan fiction or something. I can't remember. But it is one of the big. She works at a flower shop. He's a wedding planner, and they're kind of forced to team up, and they have some second chance vibes. And I remember really, really liking it. I have to go back and read her other book. It's like another, like, Not Another Love Song, I think is what it's called. But I'm waiting for her auction to get turned into a fan reel so I can read that as well. And then another book that I don't have on me, but I read on KU, was the Fabled series, so Forged in Magic by Jenna Wolfhard. I'll attach a photo here. This was definitely a more steamy cozy, but I really did like it, and I had a fun time with it. And again, it's just an author that, like, I read 2 books by her this year, and I want to keep reading her. I want to go back and read other books by her as well. So let me know if you would like me to do a reading vlog where I, like, if I read more by books by these authors, and see if it was just a one-off or if I like everything. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see a vlog for that. Another author that I read this year that I really like was Kate Robb for This Spells Love. I'll attach a photo here. she is a contemporary romance author with a little bit of a twist. The first one was a witchy story about like parallel universes, and I really liked it. I read that book for Battle of the Booktubers, and I think that was like my favorite book in that series that I really am excited to keep reading. She writes standalone, so I really want to go back and read a primetime romance. Also, I also found Rebecca Genchek this year for Burnout and the Playbook, and I just want to keep reading more by this author because she's such a fun author and her audiobooks are really, really great. So I'll attach a picture of Burnout here. And then I also want to talk about, well, I already read by Kaylee Smith, so I'm just going to mention her, but she wrote her romantasy debut, Phantasma, that I really, really loved. I'll attach a photo here, but I have read her YA stuff, but she blew up this year, and I really, really liked her. And then Kelsey Smith, who wrote The Secrets of Briar Hall. I'll attach a photo here. This is a historical murder mystery that like just hit, and I liked it, and I want to read more by this author in the future. So yeah, those are the bunch of the authors that I really like this year and just want to keep an eye on them, what they're putting out in 2025. A lot of these authors will show up on my top reads of the year list, so be sure to check out that video when I post it. Let me know in the comments what's a new author that you found in 2024 and you loved, and I hope maybe I'll get to read them in 2025. And I'll talk to you guys soon for another video. Bye.